26th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Will we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Here. Colin Schwarm here. Richard Barton here. John Schuster here. And Bradley, Dean, and Lindsay Metzger-Roll are excused. Okay. On to approval of the agenda. I have one change for request.
Oh, can I make one too?
Yeah, go ahead.
If you look at 9A and 10C, they both start out with a review action. I'd like to add before that the language a public hearing on, comma, and then go back into review action. This was the data center stuff I'm trying to make sure.
Okay, well, yeah, one is, all right.
Because we're having public hearings on both of those, but it doesn't say that.
So the first one is old business that you want to change, 9A, and
Right.
the other one is 10C that you want to change.
Right.
Review. Okay. Anybody have any questions, comments, or thoughts of that on that?
Was he just moving them up?
No.
No.
Restate that again, please, Pat.
I'm just making it clear that it's a public hearing, there is a public hearing on those, as well as maybe action.
No, okay.
Anybody else have any comments? All those in favor of changing as noted by Pat? Aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion carries on that change. And I would like to make a motion that we put 9A old business after new business, just to help expedite the process here for everybody in the new business section. Anybody have any conflict with that?
Nope.
Any comment? All those in favor of putting old business ahead of new? Aye. Or
Aye.
new business ahead of old, I'm sorry. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay. All right. Any other comments, questions about the agenda? Would somebody like to make a motion to approve the agenda as reoriented and worded?
I'll make
So-
a
Motion by Kabundi, second. By
Second.
Pat. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, motion carries. Approval of the minutes from the April 28th, 2026 Planning Commission meeting. Anybody have any comments or thoughts on that? Somebody like to entertain a motion to approve?
I would so move.
We had a motion to approve by John. You want to second that?
Sure.
Seconded by Richard. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Okay, first public comment. Anyone wishing to make a comment at this time may do so. If you are going to, please raise your hand and then step to the podium. Okay, we have no comment from the public. All right. Correspondence. We have none. So, let's go to new business. PSE 26-004 and PSP 26-003, a request for approval of a special event permit, sign permit for TNT fireworks at 2048 J. Matty Parkway, Interlochen, Michigan, 49643, owned and operated by Brian Lopak, TNT Fireworks.
Brian Lopak, 950 Sherman Street, Marquette, Michigan. Looking for permission, like we do every year, same group, same placement of tent up there at 2048 J. Matty Parkway, and same group running it, and following the state fire marshal guidelines, as well as your guys' ordinances for signs and anything else.
Everything's pretty much going to be the same as last year.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions? Concerns?
No concerns from last year, no issues that we had that need to be addressed? No?
Anyone like to make a motion? Motion to accept as presented. Motion to approve as presented by Clobundi,
I'll second it.
Second.
seconded by Schuster.
Too late.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? There you go. Motion approved.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Next, okay, PMPA 26-00/PREZ 26-001, a public hearing to receive and discuss public comment for consideration given relative to the request for a master plan amendment and rezoning located at State Park Highway, Interlochen, Michigan, and owned by John Stephenson, AKA Lambd Inc., Lambd LLC. The applicant is requesting a master plan amendment and rezoning. Parcel ID 28-07-034-019-11 and 28-070-034-019-12. Almost there. 28-07-034-019-13 and 28-07-034-019-14. I made it. At this time, is applicant like to make your request, please? If you have any comments, yep, if you don't mind going up there.
Yeah, so we were just looking to take the parcels, I bought this property from the guy who was gonna develop it into at least 4 lots and then maybe split it into more. And I was looking to turn this from whatever residential one it is now to the 5, the R5, and give those 2 lots to my girls so that it's basically for the purpose of protecting large parcels in the area, and estate planning for the land stewardship of those 2 parcels to contiguous. Pretty much just.
Anybody have any questions for the applicant?
What does the current zoning prevent you from doing that?
It's split, there's some, I guess, building restrictions for what it is, and it's split to,
I think it's R1.
It's R1, let's go to R5, right? Yeah. So you just want a little more freedom on doing what R5 would allow you to do?
yeah.
Pat, you have a question?
Oh, does LAMD LLC operate any businesses?
No, it's my daughters, Lucy, Annabelle, Mom, Dad. I just made it for the property because I was gonna use it for these guys anyway, so I needed it because it was separate from my business, and my guy said, hey, you need to put that in the LLC, so that was the best time in the LLC that I could come up with.
Okay. Can you tell us what business you're in?
I do waterfront management, we do sales of that stuff, we do all the fun stuff you would want to do, glass, voice, build the voice, spark word, that stuff. Busy time of year.
Anybody else have any questions?
Of the remaining lots, how large are they going to be?
I think it got split, it was goofy, it was split to, they weren't quite even, it was 5 and some change and 5 and some change, but it wasn't a split 5, this wasn't a true 10, so I think it was,
Last time I saw this, last week, oh, here it is,
it was 5.12
506.
and 5.07.
Yeah, 5.12
Yeah,
and 5.07.
Yeah.
And in relation to this, where's your house?
so we have property across the street, right? Just, it's across the street, it's kind of kitty corner, but it doesn't technically touch that property.
Okay,
It's split by the road. It's kitty corner with an easement in between, so you can't merge those because there's an easement through that property to ours. So it technically doesn't touch.
That property is located, the property in question is located on the west side of the road,
Yeah.
and it's the last pieces that would butt up to the
So the
R5 that exists currently.
I remember seeing it last week, but
So this is a transition piece. You have R5 on one side, R1 on the other. Is that?
R5, R5, and on 2 sides.
He's already R5. Oh, where
Right,
you
right.
live, right? You're already R5? Or
No, he's R1, he wants to go to R5.
The one across the street, and we haven't built it yet over there. I haven't done anything with that yet. So
Okay.
across the street where we're at is not R5, that's R1, I believe.
Yeah, my question was the property in question that you want to move to R5. That's bordering R5 already?
Two sides, yeah. The two long
It's the
sides.
very last pieces of parcel before it's all R5 around it, so.
So you're just asking to move the line, really?
There you go.
Anybody else have any questions, comments? Well, hold on 1 second, please. This is just the, yeah. Yeah, are we all good question-wise? Okay, you may sit down at this point, and we will open up the public hearing portion of this discussion at 6:14. And at this time, I would like to say that the public may now raise your hand and come up to the podium and, yes. Yes, you may. Thank you.
Oh, I really need a microphone.
Hmm.
Okay, so I am in kind of like in the middle.
Can you
Distributing it out to selling it. Some other company is gonna do a lot of construction here because it's all woodland next to the airport. And right, you also are talking about the property across the street.
No, that one doesn't get, I was just doing this one, because property across the street doesn't technically, it touches it as you can see it, but there's that easement that goes down there. So it's not that one, it's just this one. And our property is just one side of yours, the township is behind it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I understand that. So I just want to approve of him doing whatever rezoning he's trying to do and, move forth and.
all right.
So I think, I'm willing to, I think we're just worried about
storage units or commercializing.
Right, so you would put in writing that it would stay residential.
Well, the other property.
Not, the one that questioned,
Right.
but if they can make that offer to make it.
You could make that offer if you want to, that's perfectly up to you, but for all intents and purposes of this rezoning, it's not, doesn't have, I mean, this board can't ask you to do that, so. But I do understand your commitment. It sounds like you're pretty committed to keeping it, you know, the way it is for
Yeah.
future, so.
Your neighbor that's just to the north,
Yeah. It's,
oh, okay, that's your property?
yep.
Okay. That currently is R1, correct?
I have no idea.
Yes.
Yes,
I don't know.
yes.
Okay,
It's zoned residential, I know that.
all right.
Yeah, but, yeah, there'll be two sides of R1 on that piece of property, so.
So we're really not looking at changing the character of the place or the intended use or the reason why we draw these things up. I mean, I don't personally see an issue.
No, and it doesn't, and it's not considered spot zoning where we're interjecting a piece of R5 into residential all the way around. This actually just adds on to what is already there, and one could look at the map after we're done and not even know, so.
It flows nicely.
Personally, I like the idea, but
Yeah. Anybody else have any comments? Anybody like to make a motion?
Now, I would certainly recommend the approval to change those lots to R5 as described in our materials. And since there's no other opposition to it,
And we have a second for that? So we have a motion to approve the request and as presented.
Is that to recommend to the township board
Yes.
to,
This is this is us saying, yes, we think everything is okay with what they're requesting, and then recommending it on to the township board to approve the master plan change.
and the rezoning?
Yep. So we have a motion to approve and recommend to the board, and we have a second by Clint. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Uh,
All those opposed? Motion carries. One more step. Okay.
it doesn't look like they're gonna be building none too soon, are they?
Probably not.
I don't think they're allowing us to set.
All right, so,
Back to the agenda.
so, just a question on this, but next on the agenda, ZOA 26-001. This is the, for the public hearing portion of reference to ZOA 26-001. Sorry if I can't remember exactly how you worded that, but zoning ordinance amendment for emergency data center memorandum. So I have a question for the zoning administrator. At this point, this is in front of us as just what, the public hearing portion to say, because the township board already enacted all of this, so.
Well, this is, the township, can I speak to that?
Please.
The township board did an ordinance under their police powers for a moratorium on them in the township. But the township attorney recommended that we also do an ordinance pursuant to the, amend our zoning ordinance to also do a moratorium to make it that much more bulletproof, I guess you'd say.
Okay.
So it's just, this is kind of a reinforcing what the township did.
I thought they did both at the meeting, but.
No, we can, the board, township board can't amend the zoning ordinance
I got you.
with a little quickie action like that.
So, this is a public hearing.
A public hearing to see if
Two.
we want to recommend to the township board
That they adopt this as well. Still, that
Yes.
big question that I was going with at that time was, are we putting the same time limit on this so it matches up with the police power one, or
No,
are we just gonna recommend it and let them decide the amount of time they wanna put on that?
I thought they were sending it back to us
It does
To
come to
adopt.
us, but what happened was,
and
I
send
came
it
to the,
back
I went to the
them.
regular meeting, and so the regular board adopted, the main board adopted
Right.
this memorandum to stop things in police power, so it was on the books right at that point in time, but then there was a lot of confusion about what, having two of them, and so this is the one that just goes into our zoning ordinance, not the police power, which is all by itself.
Right.
And then, so, yeah, this is why I was really requesting that we got a little more info when we did this whole,
Yeah, I
when it
can.
got enacted, because we're all flying blind in this a little bit.
This one's for the way it's written is for 180 days, but it can be extended. When the township board passed, they went with a year, but our attorney recommendation was to go with, it might be a little bit better in court if you only went with the 180 days with the provision for an extension. So this board can go leave it the way it is or change it to a year. I don't think it's gonna make any difference one way or the other. Whatever the board prefers, if it decides to recommend this.
Jason, do you have any comments you wanna make about it? All right.
Because our attorneys review it, I think if we're comparing, feels that we should have both a zoning ordinance moratorium and a police power, which is just passed. We have both that we should use.
All right. Well, I think we got that covered anyway at this time. Wanted to verify how we're going about this with the timing, because it just all sort of got dumped back here, so. Anybody have any other questions? Otherwise, we'll open the public hearing. All right, I'd like to open a public hearing on ZOA 26-001. A review / public hearing on action reference to ZOA 26-001 zoning ordinance amendment for temporary data center memorandum, and we will open it at 6:26. Would anybody in the public like to comment on this? Yes? All right, please state your name and address. Can you step up to the microphone? There you
Is this a moratorium so that other bad places would not be built?
go.
Yeah, well, we're kind of at lost on what.
So, I don't know if anybody's read anything about data centers.
Yes.
Okay.
We've read and we've worried about it.
So, right now, there is absolutely nothing in our zoning that would prevent one from coming, that would say that it has to go in any certain place, that it can only be a certain size. We have nothing that would stop them. They could make an application tomorrow and we could not stop them, right? So the moratorium was so that we can actually give ourselves a little breathing room, take the time. You can't make it illegal for them to come here, but you can put restrictions in that help protect the health, safety, and wildlife, land of, you know, all of the township. So those are all the considerations that we're gonna work on in this whole thing, but we had to put in this moratorium so that everything would just freeze right now in that regard, and it gives us a little bit of time.
If something like this did get put before the board, and one wanted to come in, would it go to a public vote?
Well, this board will work on the logistics of everything, and then it will be up to the main township board to accept or want to change or, you know, to enact.
Definitely feel that there needs to be a moratorium.
Yeah.
Most residents would. We've heard so many horror stories and stuff.
Yeah.
We don't want to do that.
So the township has enacted a police power ordinance, but now we're here to the other side of it, but we're just trying to, this is happening pretty fast, so trying to coordinate back and forth with the amount of the timing and how we're gonna go about it, but, yeah. Thank you. Yes, sir.
My name is John Stevenson, and I have the distinction of being my fellow dad. But as far as, I didn't know this was going to be on the agenda for this evening, but from what I've read about data centers and the massive amounts of water that are required, I would have deep concerns over what the impact for our area would be if a data center were put anywhere in our township, and the impact, probably negative, that it would have on that precious resource. I would strongly recommend a moratorium, and I would even go further to hope that the board would have such stringent guidelines that it would be nearly impossible to see a data center happen in our township. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we will close the public comment portion of the request at 6:30. Comments? Do you have any thoughts?
Sort of, my belief, Pat, you're the one that brought up this topic to the board, right?
I believe so.
Yes.
Wanted to say thank you.
Okay.
Because clearly it's a need, and we're just hearing echoes of our thoughts during these discussions as well, so, anyway. Thanks for being proactive on it.
I think we're all headed in the right direction on it, anyway. All right, would somebody like to make a motion on this?
Oh, could I talk about something first?
Oh, yeah, please.
Well, these, you're supposed to do, for these to be upheld in court, you're supposed to do findings. This board is actually supposed to make findings, which is hard for a board to do. Usually it's a judge making findings, so it's a lot easier for one person to say, yeah, this is the truth, this is the truth, this is the truth, therefore, whatever. But like in the new ordinance we're looking at, if this passes in the future, these findings will have to actually, and any other amendments we do to the, any other moratoriums that we do, we'd have to put the findings right in this. And there are a few in here, but I felt they needed some beefing up. So I don't know if anyone had a chance to look at this sheet It's more proposed findings, which we could adopt by motion before we act on the recommendation, which I would encourage, because I think it would make it a lot more likely to stand up in court, because if these data centers do come to town, they bring a lot of lawyers and money and firepower, and so I just,
So you want to adopt these findings?
yeah,
Part
just
of our
have, like, by a
recommendation?
majority vote, say, yes, we find that these things we find these things to be true. And the first 6 I pulled from this, that I think was handed out at the last meeting.
Yeah.
And then some of the language is in there just to tie it to our zoning ordinance.
So. Well, I think 1 isn't necessary, I mean, do we have to put,
No, we
list all our reasons on our request for this?
We don't have to list all of them, and we can, if there's one that, you know, you don't like, we can get rid of it, but we should have
Well,
some.
I think I would like to just, myself, do a blanket that we need time to study the economic, agricultural, industrial, human, water, resource, natural effects to the community before we
Yeah, but-
determine the appropriate size, location,
Yeah, but why do you need time to study?
because it's a fairly complex subject that can't be decided in a matter of minutes. Don't you agree?
So it's complex.
Well, I mean, I listed off several things. You know, what's the impact of the environment? What's the impact of the local residents that would be surrounding any said data center? What's the impact to wildlife?
Right. Well, that's the kind of thing that we should put in there. You know, we're worried about this, and this. And why are we worried? Because we heard it might be bad or negative. So since, yeah, I just pulled these because this is something that we actually was distributed to us. So they can't go into court and say, well, there was no testimony at our hearing to establish these things. But we can say, well, we reviewed the report, and these things were in the report, and we find them to be, you know, they seem to be
I guess
legitimate.
we can include this handout as a recommendation of possible areas that need to be discussed and answered.
We're not bound, this is just.
That's what I'm getting at.
Some type of a
As a
basis for
recommendation.
us making a decision, and this doesn't restrict us in any way.
Well, we had some public comment stating that, you know, people weren't even aware and that they don't like the thought of massive water use and all of those things. So we have some public concern, and we could recommend that this letter go along with it as possible findings that we find there being a need for discussion before any zoning is addressed.
Sounds lovely.
Doesn't it?
Yes.
Now you're gonna ask me to repeat that, because I'm not too sure I could.
I make a motion to pass exactly what you just said.
That'll cover it.
I make a motion that Mary Jo will not be happy when she deciphers that, but yes. All right, so we have a motion by Clint to
Include this list.
include this with a recommendation to the board that a
These are concerns to be,
Address the
zoning ordinance amendment for a temporary moratorium data centers be enforced with the included attachment.
Yes.
Okay. Motion by Schwarm, seconded by Kobundi. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. We'll send that back to the board. All right. And thank you for your concerns. There will be probably more, there's gonna be a lot more discussion that happens before this happens, so. I purposely did not try to alter the time limit on that because I think the board can also add to that when they approve that moratorium. They can do that, so if they wanna make it run concurrently with the other police power one, they can.
Yeah, I think they can make minor changes to it.
Yeah. That way we're not competing with any interests, so.
Was there anything else the board wanted, Pat?
No. Like I said, this is more of a precaution because it was recommended by the attorney. So just in case if our police power ordinance for some reason wasn't upheld or it was ruled that it didn't actually stop them, this is kind of like a second line of defense, so to speak.
This is step one in a long discussion about, you know, all the
The discussion started fine, but as it progressed, it kind of
well,
moved.
there's been different opinions about all the moratoriums, the police power and the zoning amendment one, so whether we needed both, so the board passed one, and we're recommending that they pass the other one, so it'll go back to their next meeting, and they will look at the zoning side of it, and I'm sure pass that one as well, but, yeah. We're going through the process. So,
Okay,
all right, on to old business.
anything else?
ZOA 26-002. Review action reference to ZOA 26-002 zoning ordinance amendment for sign ordinance amendment. So this would be the last sign ordinance that we sent to the township attorney for review. And the township attorney looked through everything that we had sent over and liked what they saw. So they sent it back to us for, you know, our review and recommendation. If we have any other changes or whatever, we can make them, or to recommend to the board. So,
So legal counsel's already passed this?
what's that?
Township attorneys
No,
have
the
already
township attorney has looked at it and said everything that we had in
Okay.
there was copacetic.
Unless somebody found something else, move it ahead to, send it to
Yeah.
the board.
So the formality of that would be done, and we would just, at this point, if everybody's happy with what we sent over the first time, recommend to the,
Well, we have to have I went by the notice, it says we're gonna have a public hearing, I believe, unless I
we'll
was
open
reading.
that in a minute. I'm
Oh,
just
okay.
going through we're just doing you know, so everybody understands where we're at with it. So, I don't know if anybody's got any questions about that, or if there were any changes that we had thought about, or we like it.
Crowning achievement of the spring.
All right. It kind of was. Okay. Anybody else got anything? All right. At this time, 6:40 PM, I'd like to open the public hearing for discussion regarding ZOA-26-00-002 zoning ordinance amendment for sign ordinance amendment. Would anybody in the public like to make a comment? Okay, we have no comment from the public, so we will close the public hearing at 6:40 and a half. And move on to discussion. Anybody else like to have any discussion or make a motion?
I'll make a motion. I move that we recommend adoption of the proposed ordinance amendment ZOA 26-002 as presented.
Motion? Motion to approve and send on to the board, and seconded by Bundy. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
I'm glad we're finally pushing this through.
Yeah,
It's taken a little bit, hasn't it?
like 12 years.
Yeah, probably.
Been a while.
Definitely been a while.
We have no other business. Liaison report from Board of Appeals.
Nothing.
Zoning Board of Appeals had no meeting. Second public comment. Anyone like to comment? Okay, no second public comment. Discussion. Anybody?
Just thanks for Pat for bringing this up, and I would say to the audience, if you feel about this subject, continue to come to these meetings and help support the people that pass these.
Yeah, I'd like to also add that, so keep it in your minds that, you know, there's going to be some criteria that we have to come up with to determine what a data center is. Data centers could be as big as this desk. Data centers can be as big as Interlaken. We have to determine how we're going to determine that size criteria. Could be through power usage, could be through water consumption, it could be through, you know, land size that's required. So that's one item to think of. The next item to think of is where would we allow one? Like, you know, industrial section, commercial. Another thing that we'll have to determine is, you know, distance from residential neighborhoods. How are we, you know, so there are a lot of things that we're going to have to put in there as the criteria, which will allow for a data center, but will also totally protect the public. And, you know, in the long run, if the public deems that they're not too interested in Green Lake Township, then we will have to make sure that, you know, the public's being listened to, and, you know, we're taking care of our township. So just think about that, because these are the future discussions we're gonna have, so.
So that the public knows, we're not allowed to ban them. I mean, we could try, but it usually doesn't hold up in court. So the attorney recommends, you know, give them all the regulations that you want. Keep them in one district if you want. It's kind of the closest you can get without actually banning them. Just try and if they do come, try and minimize whatever negative things they do.
And in turn, it makes it less attractive by design, but that's
Yeah.
just how it goes.
Yep. And, yeah, I mean, we got a little ways to go on this, but I think we'll get there with.
It was kind of interesting because the day after our last meeting on this, there was a county in Texas, I believe it was, they'd given approval for one, and just recently, they decided they want to back out because of all the things entailed. And it was kind of interesting just to see there are a couple of places like that in the nation, and
There,
You're not talking about that big one in Utah, are you?
no,
That's another one.
Texas.
That one's
They
the
have,
same way.
they have the ability to do micro data centers and link them up. They don't like to do that because micro data centers don't always have the same power grid. They don't have the same, you know, you can lose connection in between the two. So it's way more cost effective for them to put it all in one place and make sure that, you know, power doesn't go down. So, see, you know, that's what they like, but I think that the public sentiment is changing across the country, and they're gonna have to rethink that scenario. All right, anybody else got anything to talk about? Okay, somebody like to make a motion to adjourn?
so moved.
Motion to adjourn by Bart,
No second.
seconded by.
6:51.
All right, seconded by Schuster at 6:51, or 6:46, I'm sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right,